Greetings again in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. I just want today for us to discuss a very important topic that impacted my life so many years ago when I got born again, when I got saved. The issue of holiness. Now, holiness has been described in many different aspects and in many different ways. But today I'd just like to share with you the simplicity and the power of holiness. In this two-part series where we discuss holiness and present it before you, you will begin to discover that it is not a stressful event, nor it is something that is hard to do, but it all comes by faith in Jesus Christ. Now, when I was born again, many years ago, we were told in church that we must be holy. And we were told of all the acts of unholiness. And true to say, the acts were true in terms of going with unholiness. But the problem was not in knowing the facts of unholiness, but the problem was in trying to be holy. Because every time we tried to be holy, we found ourselves doing the very same things that we were told not to do. Maybe if I can just help you understand something, it's like a child. If you tell a child, don't touch this, you know, the curiosity level of the child increases, and you find the child wanting to touch that because you've just brought a thought in the mind that says, do not touch. But somehow, in the psyche of a person, when you say do not, immediately the next thing that happens is that the person becomes very interested in doing that. You'll find that even in the book of Genesis chapter 3, when God begins in Genesis chapter 2, God plants a garden, and in the midst of the garden, he plants the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he gives an instruction. He says to Adam, Adam, you may eat freely of anything, including the tree of life, but do not eat of the tree of good and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And we find Adam living, and well, it didn't really bother him that much, because I guess he must have been busy working, naming animals and doing all that. But Eve now, who was given the instruction by Adam that God had said this to him, now Eve begins to develop curiosity, because when the Bible tells us that the snake met Eve and began to speak to Eve, Eve must have been in close proximity to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because the snake never said, let us go and see. The snake simply said, look, it is it is scrumptious, you know. So Eve must have just shifted her eyes and began to see the scrumptious tree. And just by that curiosity, because the snake says, did God say, do not? And this do not caused a problem with Eve that made her need to partake of that tree. And she ended up partaking of it. Now, anytime instruction is given that says do not, it creates a problem, because the very next thing you'll find that person engaging in that. But today I want to bring to you to light, I want to bring to light to you the simplicity, power, and impact of holiness. Now, people mistaken holiness for not doing. Yet holiness is not doing, but holiness is in actually being holy. And holiness is not an issue of trying to be holy, but a holiness you are made to be holy. You're going to understand this through the demonstration I'm going to do for you. Now, we understand that man in his nature, or in his fallen nature, is an unholy person because of sin. Nice. Because of sin, man is unholy. Now, if you go and look at God, God is holy. So, for man to be holy, we need to get a holy God to affect an unholy man. And whoever is stronger than the other will bring the other to his or their position. For instance, if I may make a demonstration in this way, if this be you, and in you is filled all the knowledge of good and evil. I love it because water is good and it can be evil. Because at one time it takes away drought, but at another time it actually brings floods. So if this be you, having the knowledge of good and evil, and according to your past, being unholy. So, in order for you to be made holy, all you need to receive is a holy God. And this before you is a glass of water. But as soon as I take this juice and I put it in little quantities, not in much, in just little, and I begin to mix it together, and I put it before you, and I ask the question now, what is this? The immediate answer will be, this is juice. So my question will be, when did it change from being juice, from being water, into being juice? And the answer will be, as soon as I introduced the sweet presence of juice. So you find now this being juice and no longer water. And this is holiness. We receive a holy God who stays in us, and our presence changes from being what we were known to be into what we are now, which is God in us, which is holiness. So I hope by this little demonstration and this little preaching you would have understood. So please join us again as we go deeper into this teaching on holiness. Your mind is about to be changed in ways unknown. Be blessed and keep watching. The Word is Life. Bless you. Amen.